up, traders? What up, investors? Kenny here from Dyslexic Investor, and good morning. Just sipping on some delicious coffee here, just chilling with you guys here around well, it's 6 o'clock now, but I've been doing the work since around 5, looking at why with PLTR or Peloton on what happened. Is it a bit dip buy? We're going to look at Cathie Wood, what she purchased, and then looking at the overall charts as well, and kind of having a great time just looking at PLTR stock again. Full disclosure, I am a long-term investor in PLTR, so my views are going to be skewed because of my position size. So if you're totally negative on PLTR, just get out of this video and watch some people playing Valorant or something. But anyways, which is that game looks fantastic. I want to start picking that up. Anywho, without being further ado, got about 30 seconds of just looking at if you want to support the channel. We have the Patreon page, YouTube membership. We have, if you want to open up a trading account, the Tastyworks link again. If you open up an account of $2,000 or more, you have 100 free shares or 10 options once you open up that account of $2,000 or more. So definitely check that out below. We have the Amazon affiliate link with Audible as well. I love to listen to books since I'm dyslexic. But anyways, without further ado, let's kind of just jump into the show here. And I always kind of look around on seeing on what other people are saying about a stock, or what analysts are saying, or how it's perceived in the wild, as they say. So the headline with CNBC again, which a lot of people do follow, PLTR shares fall after fourth quarter loss, but revenue beats expectations. And I just have the two key points highlighted, which is super strange. It wasn't very well thought, I believe. It just said, the first line, it says PLTR reported fourth quarter 2020 earnings beat analyst estimates on revenue, but it lost 8 cents per share. Then the second bullet point kind of made me think of like WTF, like what? The tight-lipped data analytical company debuted through a direct listing on the New York Stock Exchange in September. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay. We're just going to keep moving along. We're not going to just dive into that. So Investor Business Daily, if you don't know, I love these guys and gals over there. Really love these, what they do. And really, they have some great resources. And they did a little bit more better detail of understanding of the PLTR stuff. So basically, the fourth quarter expects a loss of 8 cents, which we already knew that from that direct link. Basically saying that revenue climbed 40%. Okay, that's a good number to know. It climbed 40%. That's really good. On the data analytics software company for government agencies, analysts had projected a 2-cent adjustment profit, exceeding the stock-based composition of revenue of $300 million. With that being said, more or less of like people are like, okay, that happened in the past, but what is the outlook? What is the next couple months? What you're looking for? So the full 2021 Palantir expects a revenue growth of 30%, slowing from the last year's of 47% growth. In addition, the analysts have predicted, so this is what Palantir said it expects revenue growth. Then it jumps into, in addition, analysts had predicted that 2021 growth would be 31 to 31%. Again, we're literally talking about 1 or 2% here, which I know in the grand scheme of things, owning 1% of Apple is fantastic, but it's analyst, which I know, I'm going to get a little debate here. Analysts do know their things, but the company knows their things better, if that makes sense, if that's really true, people behind it. Of course, the stock fell nearly 13% today, closing at the higher 27s. We talked about $28 being some support. We'll look at here on the chart in a second. This is the point that I looked at like 15 articles, and not many of them pointed this out. So Palantir is shifting away from multi-year contracts with upfront payments to annual reoccurring revenue. Have we heard that before? Yes, that's called subscriptions. Of course, who is the king of subscriptions? Adobe. Okay. That is Adobe is a fantastic stock too. Um, and basically, this stock, they talk a little bit of history here. Again, the direct listing started at $7.25 just in September, and now has been completely insane. And then also the lockup. So the lockup was a huge deal yesterday. So the IPO lockup period expired February 19th. The period expires on February 18th, with 80% of the shares outstanding becoming free to trade. So people are concerned that we'll be seeing some selling with PLTR dipping. Of course, the people who could be selling could be early stage investors. It could be employees that have been at the company that was able to accumulate shares, and those shares invested, and they're taking them to the open market and taking money off the table. So that's completely fine. And then again, this is the weird thing about PLTR people always talk about, is on how the structure is giving the founders of the company extremely high voting rights. So they really just kind of can really control the company, and really not in the same way of just like a larger company where it's kind of distributed. If you can just buy X amount of shares, they have like preferred rights, especially with the tight-lipped PLTR kind of stuff. That I think that makes somewhat sense from my understanding. On they just want to kind of control the narrative, which is totally fine. From not fine in the sense of like, okay, like this has happened in the past, but we'll see on how this can continue moving forth with PLTR, these particular voting rights. Again, looking here and just jumping into the stock here before we jump into the stock here, we can see here. Look. PLTR, Cathie Wood, Aunt Cathie, bought 1.5 million shares of this, nearly 1.6 million shares of this yesterday. So she bought the dip in that sense. Jumping into the chart here now with PLTR here, nearly 7 minutes into the video here. Thank you again for sticking around. That being said, it has broke through that 28 to $24 level, which we had some initial strong support. As of right now, at 6 in the morning on a Wednesday, on the 17th of February, it is up trading around $29.30. So if we go to the hourly chart here, you can kind of see that's kind of coming back from here. So this is, again, it did kind of fall into, again, that earnings came out, it did fall quite a bit. It has lingered around that $28, $24 level for a little bit. Initially looking for this to kind of stay and stay above, and really looking forward to kind of stay above and close out the week at least above $28, $24. So above that $28 price target. If that can stay above that, that would be fantastic. And the trend could maybe just kind of get a little bit of a breath, as people call it, maybe a little bit of a break. At the same time, we are, again, with the earnings. Earnings is a coin flip, and a lot of the times it's just how things are perceived, how things are moving forth, and so forth. With that being said, if we move the Fibonacci numbers to the previous high, it's actually coming into around the $27 level. So moving that up, and then with that coinciding with the price, the point of control, as we call it, is around $26.40. That kind of lines up with that 50% retracement, give or take a couple dimes. Basically around that 27 to 26.50 range could be very strong support to the downside. If that does break, and that 5 and 8 decide to cut through the 21 and the 34, we can easily see this come down to below 25 to even $24 to $23. As of right now, I can't predict the future. I don't have a crystal ball. But that being said, if we do hold and close out the remainder of the week above that $27 to $26 range, that would be a pretty nice coinciding support. At the same time, we are slightly below the 50-day, which triggers some people in the sense of just getting out of it, because it has not actually closed below the 50-day since its inception. But again, its inception has just started in September. Being a little bit a longer-term investor in PLTR, this takes a little bit of time to kind of to work its way out. Again, we'll see on how this holds coming to the remainder of the week with, again, the lockups and all that fun jazz with that. Again, If we do hold, we're going to be looking for some targets to kind of get back above $30. Of course, that high of 45 would be fantastic to get to that level. But before we can get to 45, we got to break 37.27. So that 37.27, aka around $38, we've had multiple issues on basically, you can call it a double top or right here, and then it kind of just corrected down because again, earnings. It's every company has to do earnings. It's a coin flip, depending on how things move forth. Of course, we saw last earnings kind of be a little bit of pullback, not as substantial as this, but it recovered quite a bit. But it had a lot of more momentum back then. I think people have kind of lost track of PLTR, honestly, and they're more or less just looking at PLTR. And we're really stuck right now with the people who actually want to own PLTR. This is not the Wall Street Bets or Robinhood folks who are just trying to do, or even it doesn't have to be a Robinhood or Wall Street Bets. It's just people who are just very short-term mindset of just like trading 2 or 3 days of PLTR and then getting out. We'll, again, talking about breadth, talking about taking breaks, talking about maybe just consolidation here. That's something that easily can be said with PLTR. But looking here on the longer term stuff, again, on the weekly side, this thing, again, it's so difficult to do some longer term analysis on here via the charts. Fundamentally speaking, the company looks fantastic from my perspective. It's just doing things that other companies are not doing, and it's just doing things completely differently. If you haven't watched their demo day, I highly recommend watching that. Going into some levels to potentially see, again, wrapping things up here, looking for that $27 to hold. If it doesn't, we'll see that come back down to below 26 to even maybe to the higher 24s. If that doesn't hold, again, we can come back down to that 22-ish level. That being said, that would be kind of a little bit creating more of a sell-off and a stronger correction in the stock. That, again, could be a great buying opportunity in the long haul. Looking here in the weekly chart, if you're a little bit more longer term like myself, I would love to add shares around that $23 to $24 level in the long haul, potentially even lower. But we'll see how that plays out. I can't predict the future. We just have to wait for the market and trading or the stock market gods to move and move the stuff around and see on how the overall stock is perceived and how the overall market is doing. Again, we are somewhat a little bit elevated and we're seeing some chop because, again, remember this week is February expiration, so you're going to see a lot of chop going into Friday. So be super mindful of that. Be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen, and if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe on the way out the door, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.